In today's video, we're gonna talk about the Goblin Lair, Stage 3, Difficulty 3 to be more specific. I'm gonna show you what you need to do in order to 3-star the highest difficulty and, of course, maximize your rewards. Now, there's no secret. The crazier heroes you have, the better heroes you have, the easier will be to beat content. And, of course, it works pretty much the same for gear as well. I mentioned at the beginning, when they officially released the game, the most important content that you will have to farm will be the Grave of Venom, because you need so much gear and you need to be so specific with the substats. Now, I can say I heavily invested my stamina into this dungeon and I farmed a lot. I finally managed to pull up a couple of decent pieces of gear from there. I finally managed to get a few decent attack chest pieces, even though they're not perfect. You know what? They're still good and they're still enabling me to do what I need to do. And of course, having a couple of decent artifacts is important. I finally managed to level up a few of them to level 20, and that's mainly because I purchased the Battle Pass. That gives you quite a bit of an essence of creation. I'm purchasing it from the Alliance shop, and I'm doing some summons every now and then. That's what I'm usually using my gems, you know? So we're only going to use one legendary hero in today's video, guys. And that, of course, is Erich. Everybody gets this hero for free once you're going to complete a part of the campaign. And at the moment, I don't have any scrolls in the hero whatsoever. I'm very tempted to do it, honestly, just because he's so good in the Vortex with the rest of my team, you know? But I feel like I'm not going to do it. The legendary scrolls, my god, are so freaking rare. But if I'm gonna get a dupe, I'm definitely gonna use the inspirations on him, and I'm gonna try to slowly make him better, because I feel like he's definitely worth it. Now, how I mentioned, the main thing is going to be the gear, guys. I finally managed to rebuild some of my heroes. I was struggling to beat difficulty 3 before, and I don't have any issues whatsoever. Not to say that before I actually equipped a couple of these sets on my heroes, I was only doing stage 1 on Goblin 3. So I wasn't anywhere near stage 3. But again, today I actually changed a couple of builds, and easy, we're getting to 3 stars now. Very important as well to have the elemental affinity. A lot of you guys might think that is not as important, but having this extra damage from here will be a game changer. Now, I have 25% because everything that I prioritized so far was for the poison and fire element at the psychic core. So right here, elemental affinity, you may notice I went all in to get this done rather than just spread thin around here and do different elements. I was like, no, I'm gonna wait with that. First, I'm gonna do my main team, and then I'm gonna bother with the rest, you know. So that's gonna be very important to have the 5-man bonus, and it might be a bit harder for some of you guys to achieve it. But how you may notice, we have the Traveler, fire element, Furbart. He is amazing, right? I've mentioned in today's video before, guys, he should be your #1 pick if you don't have the champion from the 99 cents pack. If you're purchasing that pack, he should be your #1 priority if you don't have him, because I know there are a lot of awesome epic champions, but he is one of the top. Like, I'm using him pretty much everywhere, okay? Even in the Goblin, how you may notice. The only place where I'm not using him is the tower defense. And I think I'm using him pretty much everywhere else. Even in the fire domain, I'm still using him. Then we have Sigrid. I'm going to show you the builds on all of the heroes at the end, guys. And yes, Executioner set is the MVP here rather than the heroes, because you ignore defense and that will be so important. Dane paired together with Sigrid are absolutely mind-blowing. They're amazing as heroes. Sigrid, my best rare champion, okay? Is my most favorite rare champion. She is the #1 rare champion in the game, hands down. Erich, how I mentioned, you've seen some of the build before, but I tend to use food. Sometimes if I don't use food, it's not always 3 stars, you know? So I tend to just pop a 10% food. What I usually do, guys, I tend to keep an eye on how many runs I'm doing, because roughly a run takes around a minute. So I'm gonna stop the multi-battles, come back, pop another food to get more attack, you know, and I'm just trying to maximize my stamina, you know, to get the most out of it, maximize the rewards that I'm getting is pretty important, because I want to build so many heroes, you know, and I don't want to waste a lot of energy in the Goblin because we need a lot of gear as well to build multiple teams, so we don't constantly have to change gear around because after a while that gets frustrating as well, you know. So I do have the Witch's Remain artifact on my Furbert, which is helping me quite a bit. Now, it's not mandatory to have it, it's not a necessity, it's not something that is proccing every single time, but every now and then landing that cheeky defense down is very helpful. Sigrid, she's just so freaking crazy, guys. Like, having Dane to use the AoE before her, just to prepare everything so she can go in full AoE, and constantly recharging that ultimate skill is just crazy. It feels so good, and it's just so nice to see it happening all the time on the screen. Look at that, bang! Just as simple as that. Sigrid coming in with that crazy damage, and this is 1 minute and 11 seconds. The best time I've got was 58 seconds. And if we're quickly gonna check the statistics, I'm gonna show you the builds in just a second. We have Dane with 30.4%. Then we have the Traveler with 11.4. Pretty underwhelming compared to the other heroes, but then of course the AoE, the coverage area is not as big. Same with Erich, for example. Sigrid 32.6, 1.6 million. Then we have Furbart with 2.8 damage. His main role in here is just to tank and to keep the enemies distracted. When he's using the ultimate skill, he's actually going to debuff them with decreased attack as well, which will enable Sigrid even more. Now, Voresh would be the perfect hero to combo instead of Furbart in here, but of course he's not going to tank as good, and the main reason why I'm saying he's better is because the area he covers with the ultimate skill is the entire map, right? So he's gonna land the block buffs, debuff on all the enemies, really bringing that Sigrid ultimate to its maximum potential, you know? Then we have Erich with 22.8%. I feel like since I maxed him to level 100, I actually started to like Erich a bit more. Since I gave him a better build, I'm actually not disappointed with the champion whatsoever. But let's challenge this again quickly. Having the increased attack at the beginning, it definitely helps quite a bit, you know? And look at that, Dane as well, man. Like, I've been saying it for weeks now. Dane is such an amazing champion. Like, in the beta, I wasn't too excited to use Dane. I wasn't too keen on Dane, but my god, I love him in Season 1. Like, he's such an awesome hero. I'm using him in so many areas as well, and I've done champion spotlights, guys, on Dane. I've done it on Sigrid. I've done it on Tonelnan, and I'm planning to do one on Furbart because, man, he's so powerful, and having this offer in the game to be able to select which epic champion we want, I feel like is such a good thing from the company to do, from Newverse, you know, to add this into Dragonheir. It's a massive thing, and I feel like more companies should learn that, should do that more often, because yes, you are missing one epic champion, you're missing 20 epic champions, but it's going to be very helpful for the majority of people that want to get a game-changing epic champion, and it can be a very good experience for the majority of the people. There we go, exactly 60 seconds on top right here, and Sigrid with 36.1%. Then we have Dane this time around with 24.9%, Erich with 22.9%, and the rest, of course, they're not doing that much damage. But let me just quickly show you the builds on all of these heroes, so you guys can kind of like have a better idea of what exactly is happening. I'm actually gonna go and do it from here because I don't have to go through all of the rest. So this right here is my Furbart, guys. I do have him on a Ancestral Protection set, and then it's just a broken piece. The main thing with him is to be built for the Vortex, to be built for the dungeons. So the build for this specific content doesn't really matter much because he's not doing damage whatsoever. The Witch's Remains will help me a bit when the defense down lands on the enemies, not only because it's gonna be as an extra debuff for Sigrid, but it will actually help me to deal more damage. Now, what it really matters, guys, what it really matters is having the builds on the other heroes on point. So this is my Sigrid right here, and I do have her on an Executioner set. and a broken piece. And of course, I have the eyeball of the giant on her, which is such an amazing artifact. Total stats on my Sigrid, how you may notice, I roughly have around 4.4k attack. I have 96 crit rate, guys, so that's pretty close. And I have roughly 128 crit damage. Now, if you're lucky to get better gear than I have, this is a crit rate glove. This is an attack chest piece, no crit rate on her. The helmet kinda sucks. I do have crit rate and crit damage, but no attack percentage or more accuracy, for example. And this is the weapon. The weapon is actually fairly decent, but it's not from the right set to allow me to make better combinations. It's not from the Grave of Venom, basically. Attack rune right here, this can be a bit better too if I can get some skill haste, some attack percentage on it, and maybe the main to be crit damage instead, just to increase that crit damage. And I actually have an accuracy rune. Now, I can always replace this for this particular content with an attack one. That will boost her damage even more, but I keep the accuracy one because I tend to change the eyeball of the giant with the crown, and like this I can land defense down with her as well if I'm using her in the vortex or if I'm using her in different dungeons, you know. And of course she is fully scroll, how you may notice. Then we have Dane. Again, executioner set is the way to go, guys. You know why? Because 3-piece sets, damage dealt by the wearer ignores 18% of the enemy's defense. This is the equivalent of Savage set in Raid, and this changed so much stuff for me. Not only that it allows me to deal more damage, of course, but being legendary, they actually give me some extra stats. So I'm finally managed to get my heroes closer to that 100% crit rate. So my Dane, I'm not going to talk about the survivability because that's pretty irrelevant. 3.6k attack, I have a 91 crit rate on him, and I have 125 crit damage. So again, he is with crit rate gloves, you see, from a broken set, because I haven't got any from a different one. But these are actually pretty good gloves. They rolled me a lot of crit damage, so I can't complain about them. Attack chest piece, we have crit rate, no crit damage on this. Then I have the weapon, no attack percentage, no crit damage. So it's a trashy weapon actually, but it's a legendary one, so I had to use it. And this right here is the helmet. Attack, crit rate, accuracy. Accuracy is important on Dane, and I'm trying to keep the same build, guys, for most of the content where I'm running the champions. I kind of like dislike constantly changing the builds, you know, so I do need a bit of more accuracy on him. But the main thing is that I'm gonna change this rune in the future with the legendary one, which will give me more accuracy. This is actually a fairly decent one. That enlightenment, if was a skill haste, it would have been perfect. And I have a crit damage positive rune, and I'm running the volcanic disc. I maxed this today actually, so it gives me 35% attack. This made a difference as well for me today because I finally maxed it, you know, so it helps quite a bit. Then we have the Traveler. I'm running a Effigy of Divine Ears. The wearer gains 10% ultimate energy after killing an enemy. So it's not something that's really gonna give her a lot of value. I am gaining the 14% extra attack, which is the most important thing on her at the moment. And again, executioner set, and this time around still crit rate gloves. We have attack chest piece, pretty much the same thing. You see, I have crit rate gloves on most of the heroes to try and get that crit rate up because the stats that I'm getting on the gear suck, you know, like I'm very unlucky with the gear, considering how much I farmed, you know. The attack is very, very low. 2.7k attack on her. Crit rate is 88%, so nothing too insane, but still pretty good. Crit damage very low at 77%. This is the positive rune, crit damage. Negative rune is attack. So that's my Traveler, of course. This is fully scroll. And the last champion that we have on the list, guys, is going to be Erich. Again, I do have a maxed artifact on him, which enables him to almost have full crit rate. 99% crit rate. This is the highest crit rate I have on any of my heroes. And I have a pretty good crit damage too at 219. So this is a good build on him. The attack is not the highest at 3.8k, but it's still pretty good. And I don't have him scrolled. That will add more damage on him. But this is the helmet. Crit rate, attack. We have the weapon, crit rate, a lot of crit damage on here. You see, if this HP or the flat defense would have been attack percentage, it would have been much, much better. Attack chest piece, crit rate and crit damage. And we have crit damage gloves. We got lucky that we rolled triple crit rate on them. Then, of course, I have crit damage positive rune, no attack percentage. We have no crit rate on here either, which could help us to change the helmet or the weapon to something better. And I have a rare negative rune, which is an HP one, but I'm looking to change this to attack. I just need to go and farm more Ancient Battlefield to get some better fire runes, because I'm pretty unlucky with the fire ones. But guys, this is my team for the Goblin stage 3 to 3 started. Yes, the gear is very important. So how I always mention from the very beginning in all the guys that I've done, you want to prioritize the Goblin team first. You build that first. Then the Grave of Venom will be the most farmed content in the entire game, guys, because you're gonna have to be picky with the gear, with the substats that you're getting. So keep that in mind. You're gonna have to farm a few hundred runs in here to get it organized. I purchase my stamina every single day, the very first refill with the 50 gems. I'm not purchasing more than that. How you may see right now, I purchased my first one already. The remaining 3 will be there because I'm not investing so many gems into the stamina. I'll rather go and summon a Heliolite dice every second or third day. I'm not free to play. I'm purchasing the battle pass, and I'm purchasing my 2 monthly cards, you know, the one with the gems, the one with the stamina, and that should be pretty much all. Now, there are a lot of different options on what sort of heroes you can use for the Goblin. The main thing that I would suggest you to do is to prioritize in using AoE heroes. And if your gear is not necessarily as good, try to prioritize to have the 5-man elemental affinity bonus, because that extra damage is actually very, very important. Now, Irina, she is a free champion. She's great. The reason why I never ended up in leveling her up is I don't have a Lightning and Radiance team up and running at the moment. I do have to build her because some of the content will require me to use more champions. So probably I'm actually going to do her today to level 90. And I'm going to try to get a couple more heroes to level 90 just to be prepared for most of the content that I need to organize. But that was all for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what team you're running for the Goblin, how advanced you are on the Goblin, of course, and let me know what hero you picked from the epic chest if you purchased that 99 cents pack. Appreciate all of you guys watching. Much love, and I'll catch you all soon in the next video. Peace.